Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, guys, we're going to be looking at the breaking news of today, in which could Fermín López be leaving Barcelona? Chelsea have a heavy interest in the Spaniard, and we're going to be analyzing the transfer rumors as there's a lot of information going on. Could Fermín López be leaving the club? We'll be talking about that in today's video. But before I do, guys, make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. Everything is posted down below in the description. Go over there and check me out. That way you guys can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. And as well, the link to become a member is also posted down below. But as always, guys, let's start with the video. All right, guys, let's get started with the video and let's talk about Fermín López, because today when I woke up, I was, taking a shower, finishing, getting ready for my day and everything. And then when I go on social media and I look on X and I'm looking at all the, the reports from Barcelona, I see an influx of media reports discussing a potential departure for Fermín López. And where is this all coming from? Well, this is coming from, multiple reliable journalists. You're talking about your David Ornsteins, your Ben Jacobs, your, Fabrizio Romanos. They're all reporting that Chelsea, they have some very heavy interest in the Spaniard, in Fermín López, and they're evaluating the possibility of a move. Right now, there hasn't been any negotiations between Barcelona and Chelsea, no club-to-club contract. And right now, Barcelona, they've given Fermín López the choice, 48 hours to decide on whether he wants to stay at Barcelona or if he wants to accept that offer from Chelsea, if he wants to leave. If Fermín López says he wants to leave the club, then Barcelona will begin negotiations with Chelsea, and they will be looking for a price no lower than 70 million euros. That's absolutely fantastic, because I was looking at reports and I was looking at what they were saying, and they were looking at, Barcelona accepting 50 million euros for Fermín López. And I think that's an absolute joke. You're seeing bang average players in the Premier League going for way more. Fermín López, minimum 70 mil. I'm looking at 80, 90 million euros for a player of his talent. But the first thing that I want to do, and I want to clarify, is that Barcelona, they're not looking to sell Fermín López. Fermín López is not looking to leave the club. But if Fermín López magically decides, hey, I want to leave the club, then that's when Barcelona, they're not going to hold him hostage. They're going to allow him to leave the door and everything. But the one thing I don't want to happen is for Barcelona to sell Fermín López because of FFP issues. I don't want Barcelona to just let him go and not reinforce for this summer, because we all know how frustrating it is to have lost Inigo Martinez, at the start of the season, in the way, and just letting him go for free to Saudi with no transfer fee. We've already seen the impact that in, the loss of Inigo Martinez. With Fermín López leaving the club, that'll be another massive blow. And I can 100%, guarantee that Hansi Flick, he's not going to be happy about that. We've seen him in the press conferences. There is some frustration shown by Hansi Flick in regards to these whole registration issues, and he's thinking, like, again Barcelona, not really able to register their players. And if we have to sell one of our best talents in order to make that happen and weaken the squad, because guys, it's one thing sorting out FFP and getting back to the one-to-one, being in a great financial state, but the thing is, we want to compete for all the trophies. We want to compete for the UCL. And in order to do that, we need quality players for the entirety of the season. Even though, Rafinha and Dani Olmo can play in that number 10 position, Dani Olmo made out of glass. Rafinha, he can play there, but it's not really his best position. Gavi, he can play there, but, we've seen time and time again that there's injuries, that there's suspensions. You don't want to weaken the squad. After what was a super successful season last season, when we won the domestic treble, we don't want to worsen that. And so, looking at these reports right now, I really hope Barcelona do the smart thing and they don't allow this move to happen, because I guarantee you guys that Barcelona, even though they're reporting that they're not going to be looking to sell under 70 mil, Barcelona, they're going to sell under 70 mil. They're going to be selling around 50 to 60 million euros, and we're not going to be getting our bang for our bang for our buck, basically. And we're just going to be much frustrated. We're going to be looking at the season and we're going to be thinking, man, if Fermín López was here at Barcelona, we'd be in a much better situation. And so Fabrizio Romano reporting the same thing. He's saying the Fermín deal could only be possible if Barca and Fermín decide to open the doors to an exit, which is something that hasn't happened so far. And if Chelsea decides to bid, which is also something that hasn't happened so far, at the moment, situation remains under control. Chelsea, they've given him 48 hours to make a decision, and then they'll be putting in their official bid. And if Fermín López was to leave the club, Barcelona, they would not be going out into the transfer market to replace him. And so with that statement, it just makes me think that Barcelona, if this sale does go through, it's simply because of the FFP issues. It's simply to register all the players and to solve Barcelona's financial mess. And we'd be going into the season with a squad worse off, with no Inigo Martinez, with no Fermín López. And the player who would be replacing Fermín López, his spot, it would be Dro, which we have seen his quality throughout the entire preseason. But as talented as he is, I don't think that he's ready to replace Fermín López. Fermín López has been in Barcelona in the first team for the past 2 years. I think Dro is very raw. We still need to see him developing before he is able to, take on that responsibility. And, looking at the report from ESPN, they said that even though Chelsea, they have very strong interest in Fermín López, it is complicated. As the Premier League club, they have to first raise funds in order to avoid UEFA sanctions. And we know that Hansi Flick, he is opposed to this departure. And so let's see how this whole transfer, saga develops and everything. But we do know that Chelsea, they have strong interest in the Spaniard. And Fermín López, he wants to stay. Barcelona don't want to let him go. But anything can happen. The door remains open. The possibility for anything to happen is still there. Let's hope Fermín López doesn't stay, because then it would be a really, really bad move for Barcelona. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comments. What do you guys think is going to happen? Would you guys accept a transfer fee for Fermín López under 70 million, 50 million? I want to hear everything down below. And as always, guys, thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out, guys.
Vamos.